I go live.
Okay, I got it up here.
Okay, hey, good morning, everybody. Sorry for the delay. We've had some technical difficulties getting Zoom to work with Facebook, but hopefully this is going to work. So welcome, everybody, to the first of the Red Star Pilots Association member spotlights. I am Gil Paz. I'm the current president of the Red Star Pilots Association. I am based in Southern California in Los Angeles, sitting in my home office during the Corona social distancing. On Zoom, I have with us our new regional director for the Northwest region, wearing the hat of his airplane on it. That is Mike Mitchell.
Greetings.
And yes, thank you for being here. And he's all the way up in Canada. And in the lovely state of Washington, our spotlight member for today is Larry Larrabure. Larry, welcome.
Hi.
Say hello to everybody. So,
hello, guys.
I thought that, because we're all sitting at home, a lot of us, and not working, that this would be a fun thing to do. I think I met Larry originally because of some of his YouTube videos, and we'll talk a little bit about that, but he's a pretty prolific YouTuber for flying, and I was amazed at some of his videos, including videos of I think down in Costa Rica, where you move from, of him riding dunes on motorcycles, an amazing short field and all sorts of field landings with the Cessna 182. And then about a year and a half ago, you picked up a Nanchang CJ6A and posted some videos on that. So, Larry, tell us a little bit about you, if you will, how you ended up in Washington from spending, I think you said, about 27 years in Costa Rica. And
Yes.
And then I'm going to hand the conversation over to your regional director, Mitch. So go for it.
So I started flying in Costa Rica 10 years ago. Before that, I used to race professionally motorcycles for 15 years. But I always liked airplanes, and until I stopped racing, that's when I started flying. I wanted to fly the backcountry in Costa Rica, and there were no instructors. So I prepared the airplane with a stall kit, with an angle of attack indicator, VGs, an empty propeller, very well. So I would learn by myself, and that's why I start filming to see the approaches, correct errors, and every time I go flying, I will take the camera and film and then study my videos. So that's how it started. And then about 4 years ago, my wife got an offer for a job. She works for Amazon. And so we moved to Seattle. My business still goes in, well, not now with the COVID-19, but motorcycle tour business in Costa Rica was being managed by somebody else, so it was working out. So I arrived here, I started flying the backcountry in Washington, which is amazing, really so much scenery and so much variety. And I always liked warbirds, but never thought I would afford an airplane. I thought that Nanchang was like $250,000. When I found out the price and I would say it's affordable, that's when I bought one.
Go ahead, Larry. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so I got my Nanchang like a year and a half ago. I really like it. I think it's a lot of fun, great airplane. So I've been flying it here in Washington, and since I know the area because of flying my Cessna a lot, I know some of the canyons and those rivers. I know where the power lines and the cables are. I go in the Nanchang in those canyons and along the rivers, which is really fun. So that's kind of the flying I do.
Yeah. So I'm gonna share a little bit of the river flying, and tell me if you see my screen.
Yes.
Let me optimize this.
Yeah, we have.
And then we'll talk about it a little bit. But I do want you to know that we've got people watching on Facebook, and So one of the things I want you guys to talk a little bit about is Chris Davis is asking, how well do the VGs work on the CJ? Well, you guys could see them on your wing there, right? So I'll play a little video, and why don't you guys continue talking?
So, Gil, you're going to take us to some of the mountain flying shots that Larry has produced and put up on YouTube. As we're flowing through that, just a quick question for you, Larry. I know you scouted a lot. You have the benefit, fortunately, of scouting a lot of the places you fly with your 182 in your backcountry machine. Tell us a little bit about what's the best time of day to fly for you. Oops, I lost him. Well, there we go. That's a good shot.
Okay, it looks like Larry jumped off. So
is this something I said? I mean,
yeah, I'm gonna keep the video frozen here for a second till we get Larry back on.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, this is let's play a little bit of video till Larry gets back on. This is him obviously up in his home state. You could tell that because the weather looks like where you fly, doesn't it, Mike?
Oh yeah. Yep, that's us.
Put on a little audio. So this is one of his. This is obviously a real narrow strip where he takes out of.
Yeah, that's a little country strip.
Yeah.
He says he's flying it now out of Arlington, Washington. So, I mean, yeah, that was the big question I had for him was obviously, here he's coming back on. There he is.
Okay.
Sorry, I was out for a moment.
It's okay.
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead.
I thought I offended you. My question was just getting to the technicalities of canyon and mountain flying. What's your favorite time of day to fly in the mountains, Larry?
I only do it when there is no wind. If there is just a little bit of wind, I don't do it.
Okay.
I usually in the morning.
Right.
For sure, in the morning is better. Sometimes at sunset is beautiful, and sometimes at sunset is also good, but have to be pretty late. Or also when it gets warm, it sometimes get a little bit bouncy. So to enjoy this is for sure when with no wind. Even in the Cessna, I don't go in the mountains when it's windy.
Right.
It's just not fun.
Sure. Yeah, it's a bit of a beat down. No, I know in the north, when we have nice, crisp, clear winter days, it's usually because we have an Arctic outflow. And obviously, even in the morning, sometimes the outflow can affect our flying. What kind of precautions do you take when the leeward and windward side of the mountains kind of shift? You said you prefer not to go at all, but maybe just talk to us a little bit about mountain wave and how you kind of explore it, if you could.
Yeah, when crossing ridges, go on an angle, so you have a way out easier. And also, if I'm in the canyon, especially in the Cessna, I slow down to a speed that I can do a very tight canyon turn if I have to. I fly about 70 miles an hour. That Cessna stalls at 40 miles an hour, so you can fly really slow. On the Nanchang, I only go when I really know the terrain. I don't explore. Once I really know the terrain, I go in the Nanchang.
Understood. So you do most of your scouting. Obviously, you have the benefit in the 182 and do some of your sandbar landings and some of your higher altitude mountain strips and things like that. Just take me through more the 182 flying for a moment, Larry, and maybe at the end explain like the mental variance that you input when you change aircraft.
So the 182, I modified as much as I could to be the best possible airplane for backcountry, being a 182. And in Costa Rica, we were not allowed to land on gravel bars. I would fly at 1 meter altitude and wanted to land, but we were not allowed. And if I landed, would be big trouble.
Right.
So when I moved here, I did my first gravel bar landing, and I got hooked. And I started. That's all I do. I will go fly on gravel bars and explore more and more. There is so many here that it's just amazing. The problem is the 182 is the nose wheel, which is fragile. So you need to really study them and check them out, fly very low, very slow, and look for logs or big rocks.
Right.
There is some size rocks that they're too much, so I avoid big rocks on the gravel bars, and
Sure.
that way it works. Yeah.
So can I interject for a second?
Yeah.
I don't know if we spoke about the VGs. So you put the VGs obviously on the 182 and you have them on the Nanchang. What have you noticed in terms of your slow flight with the Nanchang?
So
Stall speeds, etc.
When I bought the airplane, it already had the VGs. It stalls at 59 knots.
59.
Yes.
Okay.
And I flew with my friend who is a former F-15 instructor and airshow pilot with 2,000 hours of T-34s, but he doesn't fly Nanchangs. But we flew together. We spent Nanchang, and we both were very impressed at how easy it is to recover, but maybe that's the nature of the airplane. I don't know if it's the VGs or not. Also, it should increase roll rate because it accelerates the airflow over the surfaces. But since I haven't flown one without them, I cannot tell for sure.
Right. And your angle of attack meter, you have one in both ships, is that correct?
Yes, that's the first thing I bought. As soon as I bought the Nanchang, the first upgrade was the angle of attack indicator. I got used to flying with them, and they're very safe and very accurate. And some people think it's only for backcountry flying, but actually no, it's for everything. I mean, when you're on downwind, on base, on final, or even when you're doing aerobatics, I mean, you fly by angle of attack instead of airspeed. So once you get used to it, it is really amazing.
Right. Is it a light bar system, or how does it indicate for you?
Yeah, that's the thing. It shows you lights, different colors in bars.
Okay.
So you have a visual cue of how much lift you got.
Okay. And sorry, are you cross-referencing with your ASI and sort of scanning between the two, or are you?
No, I'm so used to the AOA because I have mine for 2,000 hours in the Cessna. I don't look at the airspeed indicator anymore. I mean, unless I'm cruising or something, but for maneuvering, just AOA.
Okay. Okay, great. And just my last question, I really like your explanation about approaching ridges and ridge lines at an angle, especially if there is a whiff of mountain wave effect. What other just overall safety not concerns, but safety elements do you apply backcountry just as a overall thing?
Yeah, for example, if it's windy, for sure, reduce speed to maneuvering speed. Or all you get, I mean, bounce a lot harder, and it's also more stressful for the airplane.
Sure.
And I mean, be smart about the weather. Look up when it's cloudy, low clouds. You don't want to be scud running in the CA6 in the mountains or in the Cessna, but in the CA6, you cannot go that slow because the first thing you do, I recommend, if you ever end up scud running, is to slow way down so you have more time to look, to react.
Yeah, agreed.
Hey, Larry, can I and Mitch, can I interject for a second here? So I remember one of the things we talked about a little bit a few days ago when I was, watching some of the maneuvers that you're doing and what have you, and where you're flying is talking about things that you like the least, practice the most. You remember we talked about that? Can you expand about a little bit on that?
Yes, that came from motorcycle racing. I used to train with the U.S. Enduro champion, and he used to go to Costa Rica a lot because the terrain there is very challenging. And he is the one who told me, hey, train what you like the least, train on that. So at the end, you become more proficient. And I apply the same thing to airplanes. I mean, I go every time I fly, not every time, but lots of times, at least once a week, I go do slow flight, lots of slow flight in a Nanchang, stall with gear down, practice emergencies. So I have a feeling for the airplane. No? That all those kind of training makes you just get to know the airplane very well, and then you just feel it, you know. So that helps. That's something I like to practice all the time.
That's cool. If I could move into another just round of questioning, I'm interested in your video shooting because this is going to segue into something a little later that we're going to discuss. But what camera package do you like to use when you shoot your films?
So I have two GoPros, GoPro 7, GoPro 6. I put a neutral density filter so the propeller doesn't show. Sometimes it still shows if it's sunny. Something that is difficult for me is the remote does not work if I put the GoPro under the wing. I don't know, because when I put it under the wing of the Cessna works, but the Cessna is high wing, so there is no interference. I'm in the cockpit. Sure. But so when I do video under the wing, what I do is start the video when I'm taking off, but you know, that's a lot of memory going, you know?
Yeah.
Also have a Sony 4K camcorder, and sometimes I fly with somebody and they say, hey, get off, I'm going to go up, take off and land. Please film that takeoff and the landing. And sometimes when we're flying airplane to airplane, I have the rear passenger with the camcorder. And that works well because it has zoom. So when flying to air, that's very nice. And then I have a couple of friends with drones, and I use it with the Nanchang as well. And both guys are really good drone pilots. They are real pilots and really good. They have the Mavic. And usually drone footage is pretty spectacular, and people like it a lot.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I think we should mention the fact that your YouTube videos, you know, backcountry flying, whatever. I mean, I don't know how many pilots there are that do that kind of stuff, but your videos are getting 500,000 views. That's pretty spectacular. To what, I mean, to what do you attribute that to?
I think it's because it's a Cessna 182, because you see the Cessna 182 landing in places that usually only the Super Cubs go. So people are saying, hey, this guy is landing the airplane I have and he's doing it, so I can do it. You know, it's encouraging people. I mean,
yeah. And have you taken the Nanchang into any of these same areas?
No, the Nanchang just on grass.
Right.
And I don't know how much air pressure should be okay for grass, because when I landed on grass with too much air, it felt very rough. So I use 45 psi. I don't know if 40 or 35, somebody with experience on that can say. But for sure, 45 felt very rough, you know. But the landing gear on the Nanchang is really, really strong. So I think it's okay for sure to land on grass. No problem. Yeah.
Terrific.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Mitch, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're doing with the RPA video channel?
Okay. Well, I would like everybody to be the first to know that RPA now has a YouTube channel, Red Star Pilots Association tutorial videos, and it's up and running. We have the channel will be dedicated to education videos containing knowledge and safety, maintenance, perhaps some product reviews, and stories. We'd like to hear about incidents, you know, even accidents, because we can all share from each other's knowledge, and there's no shame here when it comes to that. There's 2 sample videos up there right now, one from the Maestro Gil and one made by myself. And I'd like everybody to go over and have a look at those if they have opportunity. And we are looking for content. If you have something to share and you have the ability to shoot video, do some light editing or no editing at all. If you just want to make it one big shot or stop and start when you want to be crude, for sure, it's a good start. We want to hear from you so we can upload your videos to the channel. Let's keep the videos 4 to 5 minutes because pilots have a little bit of it. attention span.
We lost him.
Where was I? Anyway,
That was hilarious.
I've been told there's an attention span issue, at least around my house, by ATC. We are able to, when we're able up to speed, we'll link the channel to the training dropdown on the RPA website. Larry has offered to be my co-manager on the site.
Outstanding.
Yes, his vast knowledge as a YouTuber will really help us get rolling. And the more people access the channel, the higher our profile, and the more YouTube will give us perks like our own URLs and things like that. And Larry's going to be bringing me up to speed. So if you have a PC-based platform and you're shooting and you're going to edit into an MPEG-4, drop your do a Dropbox video, your videos to Larry at motoadve@gmail.com. And if you are a Mac Apple guy, you can send it to me, Dropbox to me at m.mitchell@bigsurffilms.com. You can find
bigsurffilms.com. Okay, good.
I'm going fast.
And I'm getting a question on Facebook. What are you looking for in terms of content? What kind of videos?
Well, I mean, we're going to link it to training on the site.
We're looking for maintenance videos as well.
Safety, maintenance, anything tutorial wise. Share your knowledge. If you're doing your breaks, we had Sam ask us. Remember, Gil? If actually, there's a lot of psychic energy out there because Sam recommended it to Gil and I, and we went, aha, we're already on it. So if you're doing
so that's the kind of thing that we want somebody to go out and actually film.
Yes.
How do you do, show me how you do a tire change, because that's something we're allowed to do.
Absolutely.
If you're doing a tire change, you may as well look at the brakes. How do you take those pucks out? How do you measure them? I think 8mm is the minimum on that. I'm thinking off the top of my head. That's the kind of thing we want to see. How about assisting on an oil change? If we could get a video showing how you check the screens, etc. Agreed?
All of that. Yeah, I mean, your video is on changing to LED lamps and your indicators on the panel, and mine is on preheating and your engine and oil for those in the northern regions.
Awesome.
So you can find, just in closing, you can find our emails, Larry and I, on the RPA website. I'll be under the board of directors. That's why I rushed the email addresses, and Larry will be under members search Washington State. And that being said, I encourage everybody to update their profiles because right now, let's stay connected while we stand apart. Okay, in this time, which we hope is a short blip in our history.
I'm getting also a comment. Let's get a video on how to check mag timing. Okay.
Love it.
Buzzer box. What does that mean? How do they work? How do we check that our mags are timed properly?
Perfect.
You can have Russian mags on a Nanchang we're talking about. You can have Russian mags, or you can have Chinese mags, or you can actually run them with one of each.
Yep.
A lot of people don't know that, but you got to time them differently. So what's the difference? Maybe somebody could put together, one of the A&Ps can put together a video on that and show us. So that'd be great.
All this stuff. And if you guys want to go look at the sample videos, how Gil and I presented ours, they're on the channel. And Larry, I'm going to be bold and say that Larry and I are available through email to help you with any kind of softwares or apps that we use. I'm a Mac guy. He's a PC guy. We can help you. And again, YouTube, amazing source to get you guys rolling. It's a good tech for us all to learn. And it's going to kind of bring us a little more forward. And from the News Chopper, back to you, Gil.
All right, terrific. Well, listen, this was fun. Sorry to everybody for the technical challenges we had, but it is what it is. At least everybody eventually was able to get it to see this thing, and it will be on the RPA Facebook page, so you can watch the whole thing again or in the future. So, Larry, it's great to get to know you. I look forward to coming up to Pacific Northwest as soon as they allow us to, and meet you and do some flying together, or maybe you'll come down here and do the same thing. I know that Mitch is planning, at least for now, we're planning for the fall a fly-in up there, so we'll get a chance to meet. It was great to learn a little bit about you and what you're doing, and we really appreciate this time together. So with that, I will sign
one more
off.
thing, if I may,
Larry,
Gil,
I'm going to give you, go ahead, Mitch.
just a reminder that if anybody has a person of interest they want to recommend to us.
Yeah, so down here in America, person of interest is usually a criminal.
Awkward.
Awkward. That's a great point. Go ahead.
No, I just, yeah, we would want to do more of these member profiles and get to know people. So if somebody has anybody they want to recommend to you or I, then we can connect with them and, have a chat.
And we'll do another one. Yeah, let's do these regularly. I mean, we've got fascinating pilots with fascinating stories, and this is, for us at least, it's a lot of fun. I think it's educational, and we get a chance to meet each other. So thank you. Larry, closing words from you.
Well, I think Red Star is amazing. If it didn't exist, I would have bought the Nanchang, because the community helps a lot, very, very much. So it's amazing. Like, I have Larry Pine here in Washington. He's been so helpful. And any questions, everybody's helping. Like you, the first time I started, and you told me, hey, we can FaceTime, and I tell you how to start your engine, because I could not start the airplane. So
Right.
That's amazing, That's really amazing.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. It is a great community, and we'll continue to grow it. So with that, we'll send everybody back to quarantine. Thank you again. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.